Hello and welcome to Getting into the Games Industry for 2022. Jazina and I are your hosts for today. I've been in the games industry for about 30 years now, from programming in my bedroom as a teenager to being producer on the early Grand Theft Auto games, to being games commissioner at Channel 4 Television, and now running Games Jobs Live, online recruitment events for the games industry.
And I'm Jazina. I currently work for a games development company called Interior Night, who just released their first game as a sports, which is quite cool, if I do say so myself. In my spare time, I stream on Twitch under Jazina Plays, and I do various gaming hosting opportunities, such as a show called Pixel Perfect, which was on Sky. But the point of this event is to provide some advice and guidance for anyone thinking about their first steps to get into the industry, after school or college. But I know we've got a range of people watching, and there'll be plenty tips and insights for those who are a little earlier or a little later into their careers.
Absolutely. The games industry is now worth over $160 billion, with over 2.5 billion people globally playing video games, whether they're visually stunning games, humorous games, serious games, scary games, or just games that are a lot of fun. The hard work and creativity that goes into modern games is commonly overlooked. The UK, in particular, is a real world leader in terms of technical expertise and creative vision. We've made some of the biggest games on the planet: Football Manager, Sea of Thieves, Worms, RuneScape, Tomb Raider, Lemmings, Grand Theft Auto, and countless more. UK games have been loved by hundreds of millions of people all over the world. And today, we're hoping we have the next generation of game developers watching. We have a host of people keen to impart their advice and hopefully give you some pointers on how you can get into the games industry yourself. To fit in so many great organizations, we only have a few minutes with each, but afterwards we can put a couple of questions to them. So get your questions ready.
Today's event has been possible with the kind support of University of Salford, Escape Studios, and Abertay University, and each of them have a bunch of people ready to answer any of your questions on Discord server. So make sure you're there so you can ask whatever you'd like to know. If you don't have the link from the event emails, then in a web browser, go to discord.gamesjobs.live. You'll see it scrolling along the bottom throughout the event. Once there, under Games Jobs Live, you'll see a general channel for chatting with other attendees today. If you want Colin or I to ask questions in person while the speakers are on, put those questions in the live stream questions channel, and you'll see dedicated channels for the University of Salford, Escape Studios, and Abertay University, where they have people waiting to answer your questions from now until 6 p.m. However, please don't give any of your personal details in a Discord, regardless of who they say they are. You should be asking the questions, no one else. If you do see any inappropriate questions or comments, or if you ask for any personal information, please alert a mod or anyone within the university's or college's role. They can delete and ban any idiots. We've already banned a few, so we're more than happy to do a few more, and that means that you have a better chance at getting noticed in the industry.
Absolutely. I'd also like to say thanks to University of Liverpool, who are also a late addition. They've joined us today. Some of you that registered early will have noticed that some of the original companies that were listed couldn't make it owing to their scheduling conflicts in the end, but we've still got an amazing bunch of great companies, including Liverpool University as well, that you'll be hearing from. I know some of you will be watching this on catch up, but for everyone watching this live, you'll get the most out of this if you want to chat to the universities and each other on the Discord. This stream will be available to catch up. So if you want to rewatch bits, you can, or you can forward it on to anyone else that you think would benefit from it. To get onto the Discord, in a browser, punch in discord.gamesjobs.live. It'll scroll along the bottom of the screen. If you are enjoying this, please do like and subscribe to the YouTube channel as well. And if you've just tuned into YouTube but haven't registered yet, that's okay. You're still welcome to take part. But if you'd like more information from the games courses that Abertay, Salford, Liverpool, and Escape Studios offer, then I'd recommend signing up at career.gamesjobs.live. That's career.gamesjobs.live. And providing you give us your permission to do so, we can pass your details along to them. So I would just like to say a massive thanks to the companies taking part today, to Escape Studios, to Abertay University, to Liverpool University, Salford University, 11, Ubisoft, Unity, and Into Games for their support in making today happen. You'll find out about some great courses today and get some great tips. And some of these courses have already helped thousands of people get into the games industry. So do take advantage of them being available today and on the Discord.
But that's more than enough from us. Let's get some of our brilliant speakers on. Remember to post your questions you'd like us to put to them in the live stream channel on the Discord. Don't forget.
We're going to jump around the country a bit today. So let's start in the northwest, just outside Manchester, in Salford to be precise. Here from the University of Salford is Mick Lockwood and Nate Bowman. Hello, gents.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hey.
Great. We'll hand over to you.
Thank you very much. So, yeah, it's wonderful to speak to everybody today, and it's a great opportunity for us to communicate to you what we do at Salford University here. I've been in the game for about 16 years now, working at Salford University on the games course and various other courses. So I've literally dealt with thousands of students going into creative industries. So we're just telling you a little bit about the program that we run here today, which is game design and production at Salford.
Yeah. If you can just pop our slides up, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah, get the slides up. We're on the first slide now. Yeah. Okay, so so we'll tell you a little bit about the program that we run here. The program's been going for a great amount of time now. We've got a lot of experience, a lot of great staff here. We've got some wonderful facilities. So we're at Media City in Salford. I don't know if many of you may know or have heard of it. We've got this facility at Media City where we run our games course, but we've also got some great facilities on the main campus as well. The facilities are fantastic. We'll show you some slides in a little bit more about that. But we want to talk first about the community that we've got here. So we've got a great community. We're not the kind of program that recruits hundreds and hundreds of students. We usually have about 40 or 50 every year. We're very close. We're hugely supportive, very inclusive, and everybody's welcome. My objective in this presentation is to get you to come in and speak to us. We've got a lot to offer in terms of just general advice. So if you're interested in a games program, you're interested in games education, even if you don't come to us in Salford, you're quite welcome to come in at any time and talk to us, and we'll get to that at the end. So as we said before, we're hugely supportive. If you've got any sort of anxiety or apprehension about coming to university or coming into higher education, it's not a problem whatsoever. We've got years of experience doing this. We're hugely experienced with pastoral support. So don't have any fear or apprehension. And again, just come in and talk to us. So a few images just talking about the facilities that we've got inside Media City. This building was built about, I don't know, it's about 9-10 years ago. It was open now, 52 million quid it cost. You know, we're spoiled. We didn't used to be what we are now. We've got hundreds of rooms with hundreds of machines and technology, and you know, we've just got everything we need. The facilities are very underutilized. It's open 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. You're quite welcome to come in and use all the facilities in all the rooms at any time. And again, at the end of this, I'll be inviting people to come and visit us, and you're welcome to come around and look at all the facilities whenever you like. So next slide, Nathan. Yeah, this is an example of an animation room with a back on tablets in, and the next one's about that. We've got a maker space. We've got a couple of maker space, fabrication space. We've got a VR room. We've got a motion capture room. We're spoiled. We're absolutely spoiled. So a little bit about the program. If you come in for an open day, we'll give you a longer presentation, obviously, but we've only got 5 minutes now. But we run a digital Bauhaus. That's the way we like to see it. And what that means is that everybody who comes to us at Salford, we do everything. We do programming, we do art. Everybody does programming, everybody does art. We're not in the business of failing first-year students. We want you to have a great experience when you come in. And by doing a little bit of programming, and if you're an artist, or if you're an artist doing a little bit of, if you're an artist doing a little bit of programming, if you're programming, doing a little bit of art, allows you to understand the landscape, understand the language, and work in teams, which is incredibly important. We have an absolute culture of making, so we make product. We want to make products. So from day one, whether that be board games, digital products, physical products, we want to make stuff. So we do a lot of group working, and we build things that are functional, that are digital, and that we can use agile methodologies and everything else. We could talk about it for hours, but if you come to an open day, we can give you a massive amount of detail, or later in the chat if you want to discuss it. If you want to move forward, next slide. One more, Nathan. Yeah. So another thing, I mean, we've put, I mean, Nathan yesterday was going through a list of people that we've put into industry, and it's quite interesting. We've had students going to all sorts of walks of life in terms of AAA studios, but we also see ourselves as a gateway studio, a gateway program. In Manchester, there's probably 250 creative industry studios that do all sorts of things, info games, advertising, websites, all sorts of digital products. So, we have a great swathe of people who go into the AAA industry, but we also have a great swathe of people who go into everything from digital marketing, branding, app development, web development, all those directions. So we embrace that. Your primary objective is to probably get a job in the AAA games industry, but there's all sorts of other opportunities there. So we're very much a gateway program. And again, if you want to ask any questions about that later on, we can answer it. And then finally, it's just, come and visit us. If you apply to Salford, we have this notion of interviewing every student. It's not an interview; it's just a chat. And if you come in, you talk to me, and we just sit down, have a cup of coffee, and I can answer your questions, give you some advice, give you some direction, and really help you make the right decision. It's a huge investment, and we want you to get the most out of it. So come and visit us. Come for an interview, come and visit one of our open days. Just turn up, we're quite welcome to meet and talk to anybody at any time, and the lecturers are here in most of the week. So, if you want to come and see us, if you want to talk to us, please come along. And that's about it, really. That's me 5 minutes.
Yeah, thanks, Mick. Yeah, you can take our slides down now.
Brilliant, cool. Thank you, gents. Yeah, the whole point of this is for everyone to come and chat to you. You're not going to be able to see everything in those 5 minutes. We are seeing a bunch of questions and comments come in on the YouTube. It's hard for us to keep track of that. So anyone that's posting questions on the YouTube, post them on the Discord live stream questions channel instead, and we're more likely to get to them. Just one quick question from me initially. In terms of projects that people will do when they're on your courses, are they solo projects or group projects or mix of disciplines, or how does that work?
We have a mix of both. So we have an art pathway and a programming pathway, and while you're pursuing those topics specifically, working on individual based projects. We also have a design strand of our program, which is where we put the programmers and the artists together, and we make product. So in the first year, we make board games, understanding the fundamentals of rules and mechanics and how to paper prototype. Moving on to digital, and we make something every single semester for the entire 3 years. We have a group-based project working in sort of like an industry-based methodology in a studio and in teams. Yeah.
So we're well versed at working with groups. We know how to put young people together and get them to be productive, and we know how to manage them, and that's really important because the sooner we can build product and make product, the sooner we can have those real world experiences that we think give us an edge.
Yeah, thank you. 100%, I completely agree. Bomb LW had a question. They want to know what are the opportunities for apprenticeships at the university?
Do you want to get that one?
Yeah, I mean, we have a with industry placement strand. So if you come on that strand, you have the opportunity in the second year, in the second semester, to go out into industry and work on a placement, and that's really good because you get a small amount of money to do that, and you're allowed to go out for 12 weeks, and you can still come to university, you can still come to the sessions, you still come to the lectures, but you work out in industry, you work on projects. We find it works best if we get a programmer artist pair. So what we tend to do is find a programming artist pair and then put them out into industry as a ready-made R&D department, and it always works. And we've had students go out into multiple different companies, and yeah, it's been successful. So if anybody's interested in that sort of opportunity as part of the program that we run, it's there for you.
Amazing.
Great stuff. And then if I was to enroll outside of just the coursework and the sort of lessons as such, what sort of extracurricular stuff happens? Do people end up taking part in game jams? Is there gaming nights or anything like that?
Well, the university has a huge amount of societies. I mean, there's an esports society, there's board game societies, anime society, anything you can possibly think of. Outside of academic-led activities, we do try and put together things like game jams, on not even just game jams, but jams which are creative in general and allow you to use your skills on. Potentially make product which is adjacent to games, so using interactive media, for instance, so putting together an immersive experience that uses games tech, so you're leveraging your experience with games engines with creatives from other programs, in a collaborative effort. So we try our best to give as many opportunities for things like that, but also we bring in industry speakers. Many of our ex-students, our alumni are professionals within games industry, and they come in and have a chat with the students, and we get an idea of what it's like to actually be part of the industry and feel like part of the wider creative space.
We try and get people to be, or students that come in, to be vocational as well. This is vocational. This discipline, design discipline, creative discipline, digital discipline is vocational. So we encourage. We've got LinkedIn Learning for extracurricular sort of technical training and everything else. But we encourage students to get out a camera and get into photography, live drawing. Do bits of programming, Arduino, electronics, anything they can do. To bolster their capability and improve the probability of finding employment. That's what we encourage from day one.
Brilliant. All sounds great. Okay, you've got a bunch of folk in the Discord.
We do.
Yep. So if you're not already on the Discord, jump on, get into the Salford channel on the Discord and ask any follow-up questions. I know we've not been able to ask everything, so jump on and follow up and go and visit.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you so much. Wow, that was amazing, especially the advice about game jams. I think they're really good to partake in. But I've seen a lot of questions about Discord. Don't forget, if you're not in a Discord, the link is scrolling at the bottom of the screen. So the link that you see scrolling is how you get access to ask all our guests today any questions. Jump onto the chat to ask future people coming in their questions. Or you can also go back and speak to anyone we've had on previously. They all have their own channels. But now we're going to move on all the way across the country to Middlesbrough, to a company that have quietly made a big name for themselves, getting involved in countless classic games like Minecraft Dungeons, Rust, Crackdown, Goat Simulator, which is amazing, Prison Architect, and lots more. Here to tell us more is Danny and Josh from Double 11.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, I don't think we can hear you.
Oh, hello.
This is always the fun of live.
Yeah, there's always one.
There we go.
There's always one. Yeah, thank you for having us. As mentioned, I'm Danny. I'm part of the recruitment team here at Double 11. And we have Josh, also part of the recruitment team. We've also brought along Alicia. She was one of our old placements, but now she's got a full-time job here. But she'll just talk about a bit of experience about the placements and what she did here and how she got to full-time. Before we get into the slides, we would like to start with a quick video, if possible. If it allows.
A different breed has emerged. A civilization of people evolving, creating a legacy in the gaming world. And the real one too. This place was built to create magic for the mischievous, dungeons for the thrill seekers, and open worlds to craft and claim. We are Double 11. The world of gaming is constantly changing. Each new day is a chance to take on new adventures and adapt. We strive to create a better culture for generations to come.
So I thought this place was incredible because people focus the hours that they do take care of our well-being. We do have many forms of support from our HR that takes care of us mentally, well-being and all that kind of thing.
The culture here is really different than my previous job. It's really fun, it's amazing.
Feels comfortable to work here because puts employees at first.
I feel like we are the embodiment of work hard, play hard. And there is a very significant difference when you're working in a team where we all care about each other and want the best for one another.
With decades of experience across all kinds of games, we've learned that in work, as in life, it's more fun to team up with a squad that has your back. Together, we are creating a legacy for the future. Press start to play. Be a part of the evolution with Double 11.
That's great, thank you. Is it possible to bring the slides up, please? Yeah, like Danny was saying, you might know Double 11 from some of the games we've worked on in the last 13 years, which ranges from Rust, like you can see there, all the way through to Minecraft Dungeons, to Prison Architect, and recently with our partnership with Bethesda on Fallout 76. So our story so far, this is our timeline from when we were founded in 2009 with our CEO Lee and his friend Matt. Lee and Matt worked at Rockstar and they found themselves wanting a more people-first approach to a company. So as you can see in the 13 years that we've had, we've grown from strength to strength, whether it be opening our first overseas office in Malaysia in 2020, all the way up to date with our 340 approximate staff that we've got working under the Double 11 banner. Like the video said previously, we are a people-first company. Yes, we do make games, but we want to put our people first. Just some of the awards that we've been given in 2017, 18 and 21. We won the Best Place to Work in the Games Industry.biz Awards. And we do pride ourselves on our Glassdoor ratings of 76% of our employees recommend us and 83% of them approve our CEO, which is nice. So our executive team there, as you can see, we've got Lee, who's our CEO. We have Mark, our CEO, and Kim, who's our CFO. Just some of the accolades that they've accumulated over these last few years is Lee has recently won Entrepreneur of the Year. Mark has won, if I can remember, Tees Tech Ambassador in 2021, and recently Kim has won Businesswoman of the Year in the Tees Valley. And this is just a few of the other multi-awards that we've won. Most recently there, we won the Sunday Times Top 100 Fastest Growing Private Companies, along with awards from Xbox and PlayStation, and a few local Northeast Business Awards as well. As mentioned at the beginning, we are based in the northeast of England, based in Middlesbrough, just in the Borehole buildings. But also we are international as well. And recently we set up a new studio in Kuala Lumpur. That opened up originally in 2020, but obviously with COVID and stuff, we had delays. But this year we finally got the new studio up and running, which is great. And approximately now we have around about 60 staff over there. What we do want to touch upon is like the undergraduate scheme that we do. It's for second year students. Quite a popular scheme to get your foot in the door really of the games industry. Alicia did it. It's basically what it would be. It give you obviously experience on real projects. You get credit every release. You do spend a year with us, and it is a paid undergraduate scheme as well.
Yeah. So hi, I'm Alicia, and I was a previous placement. So I think it was 2 years ago now that I first started at Double 11, and I was with Abertay University at the time, and we were all encouraged to take a placement year. And previously, not many people had, so I think we were one of the first years that about 4 or 5 people were taken by Double 11. And so, yeah, straight away you're put on a project, you're given real responsibility. It's been amazing. You're given so much guidance and so much responsibility, as I said. And yeah, I went straight onto Minecraft Dungeons with one of my other colleagues and students when I was in uni. And at the end of it, I think they liked me that much. They kept me on. I'm currently working full-time, finishing uni at Teesside part-time. And yeah, I'm still in dungeons, still continuing my assets, and yeah, it's been a great experience.
Thanks, Alicia. We're not currently, obviously, at this moment, we're not actually actively recruiting undergraduate placements, but we do it on a yearly basis. So you can see roughly how a timeline would work. We tend to start around about February, it runs through to July, August. That's when you start, and then you typically end obviously a year later. There's a few options that people do after placements. They either work, we tend to offer full-time roles and work with us full-time while still studying, or they have the opportunity to go back to uni and then obviously finish the degree and go from there wherever they want to do. What we tend to look for, which is quite an important thing, is portfolios. Quite a really big part of applying when coming into the games industry. Obviously, you want to try and stand out as much as you can. Predominantly, I look after a lot of art, and what we say is that one real good piece is what all it takes for a hiring manager to notice you. So this is some of the things we tend to look for. And just to finish on, we wanted to give some advice and some places you could visit for next steps, if there's anything you're unsure on, or just get some overall advice about joining the industry. And I believe that is our time. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. That was really insightful. I know I was like taking notes myself. I know that you touched on portfolios in your slideshow, but we did have Kayuma and Knighthood 2000, that did ask a specific question. So what else are you looking for to help these CVs and portfolios stand out? What can get them noticed?
From my perspective, when I do a lot of recruitment from the art side, so really what we look for in the art, it does take that one good piece of work to get noticed by the hiring team. What has helped in the past as well, if you know what type of work you want to work on and what type of games you want to work on, try and focus your portfolio to that studio. So for a lot of us, we do get we get for Fallout, for example, when we worked on Fallout 76, we did have a lot of Fallout fans who worked on artwork that would fit with that Fallout game, and they sent that to us, and we did make a few hires from portfolios like that. So I'd try and tailor your portfolio as much as you can. Obviously, if there's anything that's really old and it's quite outdated now, maybe remove it from the portfolio and try and keep your best work in there.
Oh, good. Thank you. That's really helpful.
Great stuff. Good advice. A difficult question in some ways, but one maybe a lot of people are wondering about. Question from Sigman saying, would you recommend doing a university course, or someone looks for internships or apprenticeships earlier on?
It's a difficult one to say. I mean, Felicia, for example, it worked out for Felicia because she did uni course and then she managed to secure a placement, and then obviously she's got where she is today from doing university. Internships and apprenticeships is not something we touched on yet. We do have a learning development team that maybe in the future is something that we would look at. But it's quite a difficult one to say, really. I'd go with what you think would work for you. I mean, we do have a lot of, for example, this year we took on 16 placements, all from university. So the placement route for us is quite a popular route into the industry, along with QA testers as well. We tend to do QA tester drives, which is considered like an entry-level role into the studio. You don't necessarily need a degree to be a QA tester and to get into the industry. So that's another step you could possibly take as well.
Perfect. Great stuff. Okay, I think we're out of time, unfortunately, but it's been chock full of advice. Thank you so much, all of you, for joining us.
Thank you very much. Thanks very much, Colin.
Thank you.
Oh, this is going to be chock full of advice, this whole hour and a half. If you have just joined us, make sure to get on to the Discord. The link is scrolling across the bottom of the screen. It's discord.gamesjobs.live. That's in a browser, punch in discord.gamesjobs.live, and that will take you to the right Discord server where you can jump on to chat in dedicated channels with Salford University, Abertay University, Liverpool University, and Escape Studios in their own channels, as well as give Jazina and myself some questions to put to each of the speakers as we bring them on. Still to come later in the stream, we have got Ubisoft, Escape Studios, Unity, Liverpool University, and into games. But first, our next speaker joins us from my hometown of Dundee, from Abertay University, the first university to start games courses. So please welcome Harry Petch, who's a game design and production student in his third year at Abertay.
Awesome. Hi, everyone. My name's Harry. Hopefully you can hear me. Yep, good. Awesome.
Perfect. Over to you.
Yeah, hi, everyone. Yeah, my name's Harry. I'm a third year student game design production at Abertay University. Before I say anything about our game development courses and introduce you to another one of our game students, please take a look at this fantastic show reel we have. Awesome. Hope you all enjoyed that show reel about Abertay University, highlighting our teaching environments and quality, our Tiger UK Games Education Awards, our Princeton Review Award of top games courses in the UK, the different graduate prospects there are in the games industry, and of course, the examples of our amazing student work. So Abertay is located right in the heart of Dundee, a city on the east coast of Scotland. It's the first UNESCO city of design in the UK, and it's the hub for Scotland's booming video games industry. We're a small and friendly university with approximately 4,500 students in total. We're quite a modern, industry-led university that takes pride in the specialist courses that we offer. On that, we have 4 different games courses we offer at Abertay, 2 of which are focused on games programming, and these are computer games technology and computer games applications development. Computer games technology has applied maths that runs all the way through it, and it focuses a lot on procedural generation. With computer games applications development, the maths are still there, but it's not as deep as computer games technology, and you're doing more like game mechanics implementation and games tools development. Our other 2 gaming courses that we offer are design and art based, so game design and production and computer arts. Game design and production is developed for both the creative and technically minded, teaching you game concepting and asset creation, game prototyping, and production and leadership skills. With computer arts, this course equips you with the necessary theoretical knowledge and practical skills inside the different creative tools that you use in 2D and 3D art pipelines in both video games industry and stuff like the VFX industry. We consider a lot of different qualifications for coming to Abertay, such as Scottish Highers, A-levels, BTECs, HNCs. So please come and have a chat with us on Discord to discuss your different options. And for some of the reasons why I'm personally studying at Abertay, for me, one of the most important things to do to get into the games industry is building a strong portfolio. And I chose Abertay as each module in game design and production is very practical based and it's entirely coursework focused. So you're always building a very strong and very varied portfolio of experience in all these different areas. Game design and production equips you with the knowledge about each part of the game's pipeline, so you can hold your own in an indie environment. You can also get to explore a discipline that you want to specialize in with help from our lecturers who all have really relevant applied experience in their fields. Also, our course is built for creating hireable graduates, and the City of Dundee is an excellent growing space for game studios to get started in. So all the way from startups formed from the university itself up to titans like Rockstar, which recently opened up, Rockstar Dundee, actually. So yes. Now I'd like to hand over to one of our other students to talk about her experience at Abertay, Rhiannon.
Hi guys, I'm Rhiannon and I'm also a game design production student at Abertay University, but I'm in my 4th year. Studying at Abertay University is a great way to get experience specifically tailored to jobs in the games industry. Abertay collaborates with many major studios such as the Chinese Room and Outplay Entertainment to help mentor students through university projects. This gives students invaluable insight into industry practices and standards and helps prepare them for life beyond university. Abertay also runs and encourages students to take part in game jams and competitions such as Dare Academy, both of which provide students with experience of working in a team whilst producing projects for their portfolios. Dare specifically is great for preparing students for the industry, as there's a hot housing period of working on the game full time, as well as talks from industry mentors. As part of the winning team from this year, it has presented many opportunities to showcase our work and network within the industry, which is invaluable experience for putting your foot in your door. That's me.
Awesome, thank you, Rhiannon. Hope you all enjoyed that brief insight about Abertay University from a student's perspective. Both of us are Abertay recruiters, are experienced and very knowledgeable gaming academics, are all on Discord. So please come and have a chat and ask us any questions you have about Abertay and, of course, its amazing games courses in the Abertay University chat. Yeah.
Brilliant. Great presentations, both of you. Actually, maybe bring Rhiannon back in as well, because we've got a question from Knighthood 3000 asking, how did you originally get into gaming and make that transition into studying at Abertay? So just quickly from you both. I mean, Harry, how about yourself?
Yeah, so oh gosh, the games, just the journey just from square one. A lot happened. Honestly, to be honest, it's starting off just with an interest in wanting to sort of develop things and downloading something like Game Maker, tinkering around in it, applying for different stuff like national competitions. BAFTA Young Game Designers is a really good competition to enter. Like, if you're between ages 10 and 18 and want to just, get started with making game concepts and exploring what that really is like as a hobby and as a job. Going on from there, there was a lot, just building up a lot of practical experience that sort of led to me thinking, hey, I want to do this full time. And from there, Abertay's game design and production course doesn't require any essential subjects. So you can kind of come in sort of on a ground basis, having not done coding before. That's not the same for all the other kind of courses, but for game design and production, you do learn everything sort of from the ground up. So it kind of makes the courses really nice kind of melting pot of different, experiences. Like I did a history, geography, and computing A-level, which is a bit eclectic for other games courses. But for Abertay, it's come in really quite useful and making lots of very interesting things.
It's worked out well. Good to hear. How about yourself, Rhiannon?
Well, I just simply started playing games. Throughout high school, studying games was never something I really thought I'd get into, but I had quite a big interest in graphic design, programming, maths, design, all that kind of thing. So I was like, well, what could incorporate that? And I just happened to love playing games as well. So I just kind of took the chance, and it's been the best thing I've ever done. Learned so many new things, and there's so much opportunity to explore and find something you really enjoy.
Yeah, I agree. Games are great. Games are very great. So we had a question from Volt. Volt would like to know, how hard is it to get a job at a desired games company after completing your university courses? Harry?
Oh gosh, I'm in 3rd year. Potentially Rhiannon might be a bit better to answer this because she's in 4th year.
Yeah. Well, I can try.
Yeah.
Obviously, I've not got a job yet. I'm still studying in 4th year, but attending events, just chatting to people, interacting with people online as well. I'm quite a big fan of LinkedIn and all that kind of stuff. But even just attending events like this and just chatting to people, a lot of networking.
Yeah. One thing that I'd say actually, within my year, we've got quite a few of us have managed to get some quality assurance internships and stuff like that at local game studios like Hyperluminal, Pocket Sized Hands. These are studios that we have in Dundee. And again, there's this kind of really nice ecosystem of, games companies and the university really interacting with each other, which is what I think kind of makes Abertay really quite special in that regard.
Very insightful. Thank you. Again, everyone watching, if you do have questions, please go in your web browser and go log into our Discord. The Discord is, I have definitely lost it and I pretended that I didn't, is discord.gamesjobs.live. Again, in your web browser is discord.gamesjobs.live. Welcome back, everyone. So moving on from that, next up, we have a French company with 18,000 staff spread over 40 offices around the planet, including several right here in the UK. They develop and publish global AAA hits like Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and Watch Dogs Legion. We are absolutely delighted to have from Ubisoft, Luke Murta.
You pronounced it fairly well. It's not French, it's Irish, and the G is silent.
Oh, damn it.
How are you both doing?
We're very good. We're very good. But we're looking forward to hearing from you. So we'll hand over to you.
Absolutely. Perfect. So yes, I am Luke Murta. So I am the talent acquisition partner for the Reflections studio within Ubisoft. I'm quickly going to show my presentation too. So bear with me 2 seconds while technology will work. Okay. Okay, so Ubisoft Reflections and Leamington are the two studios that make up our UK studio function. The games that you'll know Ubisoft internationally for will be very vast. So you'll have Far Cry, Assassin's Creed, Watch Dogs Legions. Back in the day, even on PlayStation 2, my favorite game was Driver, the series. Still going, and it's fantastic. So the areas that you can actually get into within Ubisoft are spread across design, art and animation, programming, and production. The areas will cover various different subcategories in terms of where you can fit within the business, and that could be in my area of design, it could be level design, audio, narrative, game technical, UX and UI, and things like that. You'll see a few on there that will have particular categories that actually are very niche and will be a good starting point to think about what area you would want to go into in the games industry if you haven't already thought about it. There'll be some crossovers as well. So you'll have areas that will not particularly be a one-stop shop and thinking I will only go into this area. You may have multiple skills and multiple interests. We will look into that. You'll probably get areas like programming, graphics, and rendering as an example, as a niche area. And you think, okay, if the market is very slim in that area, that might be a good area to get into the industry. The same with technical art and technical game design as well. Those areas are very tricky to look for candidates in the market. So if you were interested in finding out about those and gaining a vested interest in that, feel free to reach out. In terms of what it takes to find the right people within Ubisoft, first off, we have to identify the potential students that are of high potential. So in a candidate market, we are strategically thinking of succession. So it is in our vested interest to find the best talent and also nurture them to get the full potential and return on investment so that it's also best for both parties. We're looking to introduce future leaders and directors as well. And while that might seem far off for the audience on the call, it's also good to think about because organically growing leaders and experts will be extremely rewarding for not just Ubisoft, but for yourselves as well, looking to stay within the industry. And if you hit those first three categories, it will make us an employer of choice for yourself. As a destination employer, Target Careers has listed us in the top 25 of employers of choice for school leavers. And when you consider large tech companies like Microsoft, Apple, Warner, Google are in the top 10, we're the only gaming company within the top 200, which is fantastic. In terms of our campus actions, so our engagement with universities is very, very important to us, and we meet students, whether it's at events or during talks with universities. And some of those people that have had the talks with us regarding how to apply and what they can do to get noticed have landed a position with us. We've run mock interviews with students. We've also collaborated with universities in improving their syllabus. And we're looking to continue that and attending more university events. And while COVID has made a lot of those events online, similar to this session here, we want to make sure that we can cover all topics as possible, and that will cover all disciplines: art, engineering, design, production, and so on. One thing also to mention is networking and events. So Ubisoft is prominent in attending various events so that you can come and speak to the various members, whether it's the talent team and also the experts who are making the games as well, so you can speak to them. So we've attended recently Develop Brighton, EGX, and various other university events. It's probably best not just to hear from myself, but the perspective of someone who's in the business helping create the games to tell you about what it takes to work at Ubisoft. So Colin, if you'd like to play this video.
I mean, the games industry has so many career-like paths that most people are not even aware of. You know, even as a lawyer, you can be part of the games industry. You know, if you're into sports, I mean, look at esports, all the things that people are talking about. There's so many careers. There's so many chances to work in a creative industry, even doing what you absolutely love and having the plus of having the games on the side. So I was always passionate about art and also the idea of working with programming with computers. So I went to university at Oxford Brookes University to study computer systems and multimedia systems. I had no idea how to code a single line of, you know, anything whatsoever. I didn't know that the games industry existed in the UK at all. So I did a 4-year course where the 3rd year it was a work placement. And after 2 months of being there, I kind of realized I need to work on something a lot more creative than this. So when I went back on my 4th year, I was doing some research, and then I found out that there was a games industry around, and I started looking at programming roles. So I decided to work on my dissertation and to teach myself how to program in C++. And you know what? I managed to have a first on my dissertation and on my degree. And from that, I decided I wanted to become a games programmer. I think the advice I would give to people coming into the industry is exactly what I would say if I could go back in time and see myself, my younger self. So I would say, be confident. Don't worry that you don't know everything. You will learn on the job. Just make sure that you really work on your personal skills, because those are the things that we can't really teach. And if you're passionate about games, and show others that you have that passion, you know, that you want to learn more. And that's it, really. You just believe in yourself.
So that's the end of the presentation. Thank you very much for listening. And Colin, back to you.
Brilliant stuff.
That was amazing.
She was great. I wanted to ask her some questions as well, but I kind of realised halfway through it's just a video. We're obviously of a certain age. I remember Driver very, very fondly as well, because that was actually made up in the Newcastle studio in Reflections, wasn't it?
Yes.
So my question, actually, just to jump any of the other questions, if I join Ubisoft, what opportunities are there to move around, given there's a number of different offices?
Absolutely, yes. So there are a number of succession planning opportunities, and that doesn't just entail working within the 2 studios within the UK. We have our contact centre as well within Newcastle, which also has people that will potentially look at maybe moving into production positions, maybe looking to move into a QA position. There's various opportunities, and then also there's international mobility as well. There's that possibility that you can get an opportunity to work within different studios. So there are a vast number of opportunities within Ubisoft.
Thank you. I think that's particularly helpful. It's definitely been my experience in the game industry. So you hit the nail right on the head there. Dan Buster would like to know, would more academic A-level choices, such as like maths and physics, be more useful in like the design sector, or would more niche subjects be better, like art style background?
It is a good question. I mean, even just today, just looking into an area that's not in design, I've looked into various elements of art, even just today, and there's elements of maths that are very important within those functions, especially within VFX art and concept art. The design function does require a little bit of competency within that area. It's not a be-all and end-all. So we're trying to make sure that, obviously, because it is a candidate-driven market, we have to be flexible in that approach.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great answers. Luke, great presentation. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Okay, keep those questions coming on the Discord. If you're not already on, go to discord.gamesjobs.live and put any questions for myself and Jazina into the live stream questions channel. Because next up, joining us from London, where their courses specialise in visual effects, game art and animation, let us bring in Simon Fenton from Escape Studios.
Brilliant. Thank you, Colin. Thanks for inviting me here.
No, not at all. Great to have you. We'll leave you to it.
Brilliant. Okay, so if you could, hi everyone, I'm Simon Fenton. I'm the director of the games courses here at Escape Studios, and I think probably what would be a good thing to do is just show you our show reel. So Colin, if that's okay, could you... Brilliant. So hopefully that gave you a little kind of idea about the kind of stuff that we do. We are a small boutique university that specialises in game art, animation and VFX. And on the game art courses, we're highly focused on teaching environment art and all the areas that kind of are part of environments. That includes props, materials, environments themselves, foliage, effects, technical art. Materials and texturing, and one of the key things about our courses are that we've created the courses in concert with help from industry to make sure that we're doing the right things, and we're constantly updating. team projects are a really big part of what we do here at Escape, and so that's kind of one of the big things that industry are always looking for, is not only an understanding of technical process and artistic process, but being able to work in a team and have those soft skills. We're an EPIC authorized training center, and so part of that means that we're doing a lot of training in industry, and we kind of bring that back into the courses as well. I'm going to attempt to switch over to share my screen. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do that. Oh, great. So this is just if you want more information about Escape Studios, you can go to our website, Pearson College, london.ac.uk, Escape Studios /games degrees, HTML. And if you have a look through here, there's a lot of information about the courses that we do, our partnership with EPIC. And you can see here that we do undergraduate courses, so 3-year courses in game art. We have a 1-year MA course, but we also do evening courses and short courses as well. If I'm just scrolling down, if we do taster days, so you can come along to Escape and kind of see what we're about and see the kind of things that we do. So we have game art careers events and postgraduate and short course taster days as well. So do have a look at our website to get an idea of what we're about. Also, what you might find helpful is if you're interested in entering the industry, we have a whole section of career guides that you can download as well. And then finally, perhaps giving you a little bit of idea about, we have our Escape Hub, again, for undergraduate and short course taster days that you can come here and have a look. We have webinars and online events. And then also we have our own blog, so the Escape Studios Game Art blog. And this hopefully is quite interesting because it shows the recent updates about what's going on the course. So this year we were voted number 9 in the world by the Rookies for Best Game Design and Development School, and coming first place in the UK, which is great. And then also this has a lot of success stories. So a lot of our students go on to work in loads of different games companies, small and large. And so there's a lot of information here regarding that. And also, if you're interested, there's tutorials from the tutors here at Escape as well. Lastly, I think probably the thing to talk about is that what we like to see when people come to us to show us their portfolios is we're interested in the passion. Why do you want to study game art? What is it you're interested in? What are your goals and ambitions? And I think probably, I don't know how many minutes that's been, Colin, but I think probably maybe time for questions. That's okay.
Absolutely. It's amazing how quickly 5 or 10 minutes goes.
How long was that?
So much to talk about. We've got a couple of minutes for Q&A.
Great.
It's okay. It's okay. So one that's come up from St. Benedict CVA is saying for younger students, for people that are 15 or under, what would be your recommendations for things they can start doing now to prepare them for coming to you in the future?
Well, like I say, I mean, I love to see what people are interested in with their work. And so in terms of portfolios, for example, when we see drawings and stuff, what I want to see is the ideas behind it, the kind of things they're interested in, the references they're looking at. You know, what artists do they like? Who are they looking at? And what do they enjoy? In terms of, we don't expect people to come to us knowing Unreal Engine, for example, or even knowing 3D. Sometimes what we ask for is for people just to show us their passion and their ideas, because all that side of stuff we teach, and the whole kind of point of what we do is that group work, these big projects, team projects we do that run, 10 people working in a team for 12 weeks, they produce some really amazing stuff. And that's where all the lessons they've learned, that's where they get to put that stuff into practice throughout the course. So we teach all that stuff. But if you're interested, then I don't think you can go wrong with downloading Unreal Engine. There is so much content out there. And one of the things about Escape is that we have, we also teach VFX and animation. And the kind of real-time graphics is now converging in all of those industries. So we're getting game students who are leaving our games course but going to work at companies like Framestore as technical artists, or going to work at the mill, or going to work in virtual production as well. So an understanding of Unreal Engine would really kind of would be a good choice, I think.
Absolutely, and as we're about to find out from our next speaker, Unity is also well worth dabbling with. If
absolutely, absolutely.
If you've not downloaded that, so have a look at that. Thank you.
Yeah, so speaking of programs, Knighthood 3000 would like to know, what advice would you give to an amateur Blender user who would like to learn more?
So Blender's a fantastic package and really making big headway, and one could argue it's got some seriously sophisticated stuff in there that some other packages don't. So I think games companies will say this as well. In fact, I know the ones I know do. It doesn't really matter what package you use. It's essentially what you do with it. So all the core skills that you learn, modeling is modeling. It's all about kind of good practice, but picture making as well, or composition. And so if you're making an environment, it's the kind of treatment of that environment. If you're making a prop, what we like to see, one of the things we're really hot on at Escape is, as an artist, because that's what we are, is how do you look at something and translate it into 3D? So in terms of Blender, brilliant tool, go for it. You don't need to use Max or Maya at all, because you could go to a company and be using Blender, Max or Maya. So it's fine. I hope I haven't waffled.
No, not at all.
That's been brilliant. Yeah, thank you so much for coming on.
Great. Okay, brilliant.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That was some amazing advice there. But next, we are privileged to have someone from Unity, the cross-platform game engine that is used by software running on more than 1.5 billion devices. Please welcome Jordan Brown, software development consultant at Unity.
Hey there, everybody. Hi, great to be here. How are you doing?
Thanks for joining us. Over
Excellent.
to you.
Thank you very much. I've got a little slideshow here. Right, so this is a slideshow called Pathways into Games. So first of all, hello. I'm Jordan Brown, a software development consultant in solutions games at Unity. I live and work in Dundee in Scotland, and I've been working on and off in games since graduating in 2016 from Abertay University. And in my day job, I help developers who use Unity to make great games with it, assessing them with things like difficult technical problems, game performance and optimization, and porting games between consoles and platforms. So, for example, from PlayStation 5 to the Nintendo Switch. But in this talk, I want to talk kind of about how there are so many different ways to get involved in games and so many different pathways you can take to get into games. So let's explore some of those and some of the things that you can do right now today to get into games. So at Unity, there's a big cultural value we hold in my team and in all the other teams, which is that we believe the world is a better place with more creators in it. And I believe this on a personal level as well. The more people we have making games and just everything in general, the much richer and better our world is for it. So here's a few examples of some of the ways that people I know personally who've gotten into games. So one of the obvious ones is being a university graduate. This is my path here as well. You attend a uni course, you graduate, and you can find yourself a junior job position at a local games company, or maybe one a little further away. But I've known people who've managed to get grant funding for games. So they've created an amazing VR prototype with their friends and applied for funding from a publisher or a trust, and they started a company. I knew some people at university who ended up finishing their course early and graduating early because they had managed to do this, and that was incredible for them. There's lots of hobbyists and indie developers out there who just make games in their spare time. Their actual main job is something very different. But some of the best games out there are indie games, and some of the best games you can find are from hobbyists who just do it just for fun. I've known people who worked in software, video, editing and production, writing, music, engineering, digital art, marketing, community management, and those skills are also fantastic for games, so it's never too late to get into the industry. And I even know a couple of people who've gotten into games accidentally. I had a friend who was a rock climber, and they got picked up by a motion capture studio who were looking for some good motion capture of people climbing in games. And they ended up working at Naughty Dog, doing some of the motion capture for the Uncharted series. And I've also known people who have quit the games industry and returned, come back after a while, who decided at some point, oh, I don't know if games is for me, but then found some new passion or a new way to work or something different that they loved about it and came back in. So it's never too late to get into games. And for people who are just starting out, it's worth remembering that everyone starts somewhere. Every single person working at games was a beginner at some stage. They had no idea what they were doing. And that's true for everybody, no matter who they are. And so with that in mind, it's important to always give yourself space, because being under pressure forever isn't really healthy. Success is what you want it to be. Your dream job might be a job that somebody else hates. So don't let someone else decide for you what success looks like. Make sure that you understand how you feel about it. Also, don't panic. You'll get there when you get there. It might take some time to get into games. Maybe you get in really quickly. Maybe it takes you a while to find the exact position or job or role or company that you'd like to work for, and that's okay too. Good things take time, and people take different amounts of time to do different things, and that's okay. And never be afraid to ask questions, because there's always more to learn. I learned so much every day from all my friends and colleagues. So what can you do right now today to give yourself an advantage in getting into games? So there are three main categories of things that I think are really important. Learning, creating, and socializing. So learning is pretty obvious. You can go to university or online courses. You can watch free videos and talks on YouTube, on this talk right here. You can read books and articles online or at a library. You can ask questions from people who know things, because picking up skills and knowledge helps you do the things you want to do. I mean, that sounds obvious, but sometimes it's worth remembering. And it doesn't need to be expensive. Now more than ever, there are so many free resources you can sign up for, download, and have a look at and play with. Interactive demos, free games with their source code available, lots of interesting and technical and non-technical tutorials on YouTube. The second thing, of course, creating, getting hands-on and just making things. And even that could be anything. That can be drawing your ideas on paper. It can be making silly videos with your friends. As long as you're creating something, you're practicing the creative skills that are important for games. And games are a creative medium. So practice that creativity, find your creative voice and experiment. And it doesn't have to be big, polished, finished, or even good. It can be something bad. Everybody I know has made things that are terrible in the past, that they're maybe a little bit embarrassed to think about, but it's really important to make something. And there are tons of free tools available. Things like Unity, but there are so many other free tools you can download and play with. And finally, socializing. It's intimidating at first, but it's important to talk to other people. Other people have ideas and skills, and they can support you in so many ways. So networking events and live online events like this are fantastic. Just talking to your friends about the things that you like making, the thing that they like making, that's just as important. Again, it practices those creative skills. It practices the socializing skills. And sometimes the people you talk to about your ideas don't even have to be in games. A lot of the best ideas for games come from people who have never played them even. There's so much interesting stuff out there in the world to draw from. The most important takeaway here is just to have fun and to grow your own way, to make sure that you're becoming the person you want to be. Do the things that you like to do and make the things that you want to make. And if you're interested in learning more, of course, feel free to ask questions. You can check out Unity Learn at learn.unity.com. There's 750 free tutorials and articles and content out there, so you can practice with the Unity engine and games development in general. And you can download Unity Personal for free on the Unity store. And that's the end of my presentation.
Thank you so much, Jordan. I really enjoyed that presentation. I think it really covered not just this is how you do it, but a nice broader spectrum. We did have a question from Jake Boy. Jake Boy would like to know, at the A-level stage, is there any tech that you would recommend that students get, or is that not necessary?
Any tech is useful. I would say every tool that you want to learn to use, something like Unity or Blender that came up earlier in the talks today, anything like this is any skill that you can practice right now is amazing. It doesn't have to be, like, the things you make with it don't have to be good. You can do anything you want. Just as long as you're practicing it, you'll become better at it just over time.
Thank you.
Great stuff. A question from Reese P10. Are there any good sites, creators, or tutorials you particularly recommend for learning Unity?
Oh, there are too many to count. I can't think of any specific ones off the top of my head. There are so many fantastic people out there. There is always something for everybody online. I recommend just finding something that looks interesting more than anything else. Keeping your interest is important.
Yeah, thank you. Bear with me 2 seconds. So what made you, like, personally choose Unity? And that is from Toggle Maggie.
To work in or to use as a developer?
Both.
I could go for both. As a developer, I got into using Unity when I was in university. It was kind of like earlier versions of Unity back then, but I was having fun with game jams, making games with my friends, and it was a great way to just kind of make something quickly. And that's why I really appreciate about it, is that you can get started very fast, and there was a lot of free resources online. People upload lots of examples and projects and things to learn from, and it was one of the best ways you can get started. And as for working there, it kind of just happened sort of accidentally, like the that slide was saying. I happened to be working in a local games company, but some of my friends from previous places I'd worked also worked at Unity. Even one of my old lecturers from university worked there, and they were like, "Oh, we could use somebody with your specific skill set." So it was an amazing opportunity.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Jordan. That was very good advice. Thank you.
Yeah, great to hear, and brilliant presentation. For anyone watching this either live or on catch up, it is going to stay on YouTube, so you can go back through and pause the video and make more notes on some of Jordan's points if you want to go back through and learn a bit more from that. Jordan, that's been really useful. Thank you so much for joining us.
No problem. It's been wonderful. See you later.
Okay, we just have a couple more speakers left. So if you're not already in the Discord, get in. Go to discord.gamesjobs.live and get your questions to the institutions we've got along today. Chat to the other people watching. Everyone will be online until about 6 o'clock. So you've got about 45 minutes to get your questions in. Otherwise, we'll be back next year, but you don't want to wait a year. Get your questions in now. Meanwhile, we jump back to the Northwest, to another city with a rich history in games, to Liverpool. So here from the University of Liverpool is Paul Tarowski. Hi, Paul.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, thanks. Thank you for joining us.
So glad to be here.
Great. Okay, over to you.
Yeah, so I'm going to share my screen here. Here we go, share screen. Sorry about that. So I'm just going to have a short presentation telling you a little bit about our program here at the University of Liverpool. It's a brand new game design program. So I've got my screen shared. I just need somebody to make it full screen.
I think it's still on a presentation mode. It's just showing you. Yeah, try making that full screen.
Oh.
Yeah, that's it.
Are you seeing that? Okay, great. Okay, so we have a new program here at the University of Liverpool, Game Design and Game Design Studies, which just started last year. This program comes from the great success and growth that we've had of our game-related provision already. So these are modules like music and gaming, philosophy of play. I myself am a lecturer in music, which you might find strange that you have a music staff member talking to you about game design. I'll explain why that is in a second. But we also have postgraduates doing research in games and giving presentations on their games-related topics at international conferences. And we have student-run groups like Computer Science Society and Game Developers Society. And we thought, why don't we take all of this interest and enthusiasm in games and put it together in one comprehensive program? And so that's what we offer here at the University of Liverpool. We have our BSc in Game Design, which is a cross-faculty program. It incorporates the departments of English, Comms and Media, Music and Philosophy, as well as Computer Science. We also have Game Design Studies, which is a combining subject that you can take with another subject. So this is the unique aspect of what we're offering here. This is an interdisciplinary course for a university in game design. Most other game design programs that you see in universities in the UK, they tend to be very technical, where you can get really into depth, or in creative art courses, developing your visual design skills, those sorts of things. We're looking at game design as a holistic craft, one that involves lots of different specializations all working together. And so there are some other Russell Group universities like University of Southampton and York that have similar programs, but they're not quite multidisciplinary like ours is. In terms of entry requirements, it's a standard ABB for A-levels, but we do accept other sorts of qualifications like BTECs and also the UAL extended diploma. You can find more details about the program and the entry requirements on this website, which I'll link to again at the end. And also, I should have mentioned at the beginning, one of my colleagues, Tom Owens, is in the Discord chat, so he'll be answering questions related to our program here as well. So he can also give you the link there. But I wanted to talk about, so as Colin mentioned, Liverpool has a history of games. The way that I first heard about games in Liverpool was by playing the game Wipeout. So Wipeout was created by Sony Studio Liverpool, who are still, they're no longer together, but the people that created those games are still here. We have some people in our departments that used to work on that game. And the Northwest in general is a really strong area for game design. There are a lot of game developers in this area. And even though Sony Studio Liverpool is not around, they still have a presence in the city. They have a QA. Actually, some of our students do QA for them. So they play games that are currently in development and give them feedback. And they've also set up this new base in the city center. But there are also lots of other independent developers that we're currently building bridges with. We've had some of them come in and talk to some of our students last year for the first cohort. We had Avalanche come in and talk to them. We're also talking to Firesprite, Lucid, and some of these other independent game developers. And we're trying to build bridges and get them to come in and interact with our students, look at their project work, but also, basically just have avenues for our students in terms of employability. I'll say a little bit more about employability a little bit later. There are lots of other connections in Liverpool as well. It's not just a strong city for game development, it's a strong city for tech in general. There are a lot of startups, a lot of interesting groups around Liverpool, like the Virtual Engineering Center. You can see myself and Tom in this image where we're trying out the HoloLens and some of their virtual reality technology. And we've put on some other events at things like FACT that you see here, Film, Art, and Media. There are these other groups like Sensor City that are involved in the Internet of Things and developing new sensors. And we've also been talking to a lot of local schools as well. So just to kind of field some of the frequently asked questions that I get on open days, I want to cover a few areas and then I'll open it up to questions. The first one is about facilities. So what kind of facilities do we have? So all of our modules are taught in specialist spaces across all of our contributing departments. These include these Mac suites, which you see pictured here in this slide, as well as professional studios in music and computer labs in architecture and computer science. Now, one thing I forgot to mention is why is a musician talking to you about this? That's because our program is actually based in music, because it has to be based in one of these departments here, but it truly is interdisciplinary. We have specialists in all of these different departments that are teaching modules on game design and offering their specialty to our students. So that's why I mentioned the professional studios in music. We have students that are doing things like recording music and Foley sounds for their games, and in a really great studio. We also have a games research lab currently where students can play a wide variety of different types of games, and this is currently being expanded into a new space starting next year. We're going to have a new collaborative space where people can get together and work on their game projects, and also lots of new VR equipment and lots of great stuff. So that's on the horizon as well. Another frequently asked question is around software. What kind of software will I be using? So our program is interdisciplinary, as I've said, so it will involve computer science as well as the arts, as well as more of the critical and sociological side of games. So you will be giving presentations, you will be writing essays and doing design documents, but you'll also be using specialist software like Logic and Fmod to make music and sounds, Blender to do 3D assets and animations, and you can use any game engine that you like. Unreal and Unity we use in our modules. You can use something different if you like. The software that we use is both industry standard and free wherever possible, but it does depend on the special pathways that you choose in year 2. I can say a little bit more about that in the question section if there are questions about it in terms of the modules that we teach. But the important thing with the software is that we don't prescribe any particular software when it comes to the project-based work. You can use whatever is most comfortable for you. For some people that might be Unreal, some people it might be Unity, for some people it might be Pico 8. So it's really up to you, the kind of project that you want to create, and we can support you in whatever you want to create. The last frequently asked question is related to skills. So what if I don't know how to code already? Can I still study game design? The answer is yes. So on the 100% BSc, you aren't required to come in with any particular level of coding experience, though if you have some experience, of course, it will be good. The most important thing is just a commitment to learning something new. Of course, there will be a learning curve as with anything, but our students currently, in talking to them, some of them had no coding experience coming in, and they're doing just fine now in their second year after getting past that initial learning curve. But what if you're not interested in programming at all? That is what our combining subjects are designed for. So you could take a 50% game design studies program, and you can pair that with another subject, like communications and media, for example, or music. And this is ideally suited for people that want to get involved in asset creation in games, but don't want to do a lot of coding. So you'll use industry standard software. There might be some small scripting here and there, but you won't have to get into the computer science side of things. Lastly, employability. So employability is embedded in all of our modules. It's in the authentic assessments. We have guest speakers coming in, as I mentioned, and we have social networks where our students can keep in touch with one another, and also with industry contacts who are on our Discord server. But there's also a year in industry option, both on the 100% and the 50%. So this is a paid placement in which you can work and do an internship with one of our partners, one of the companies that I mentioned earlier. So in summary, we want to empower our students to be ethical and critical consumers, innovative creators, and savvy entrepreneurs in a flourishing field. And I would be happy to answer any questions. I have some extra slides just in case they come up in the questions. But you can reach me at this email if you need to get in touch at any time. And you can find lots of information about our program at this link here.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, Paul. Everyone that's registered for the event as well, you will shortly be getting an email that has links to University of Liverpool as well as all the other institutions that have presented today. So make sure to check all those out. Paul, we're short on time, but just a couple of quick questions. We've got a question from Apfi. As an A-level student, it's basically a question around specialization. Should they specialize in something, or should they do something slightly broader to keep more options open for the future, do you think?
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop sharing my screen there. So I think in terms of game design, I think it's useful to keep a broad perspective. And that's really the fundamental idea behind our program. Really, games are becoming more, the tools to make games are becoming more user-friendly. Of course, there's always going to be the deeper levels that you can get into. But I think nowadays, the entry level is much lower in terms of being able to, the skills that you need to be able to just start making games. And I think having a broad perspective will allow you to create games that are truly unique and that have unique value to them. That's something we stress a lot in our game design modules is, what is the value of this game? Is it simply just a copy of something else? Or does it add something? Does it create a new kind of experience for the players that they haven't had before? And so I think by keeping a broad perspective, by bringing in experiences from lots of different disciplines from even experiences that aren't game related in your life. Bringing those into your game design process can help you make something that's really unique and valuable.
Great stuff. Good advice. Thank you.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Hi. Good.
Hi. I just wanted to know, did you know whether any students went on to start their own game studios at all?
So we're currently only in our second cohort. So it just started last year. So we haven't had actually any students graduate yet. We have seen some computer science students go on to do similar kinds of work. I've had a music student who did an internship at Red Ninja, which is a local game developer company, and she developed apps over the summer and has since gone on to do her PhD, actually. So, definitely there are pathways. Even before game design happened, we had students that were going in and doing this sort of real work in companies in and around Liverpool. So, but it's still a little bit too early to tell in terms of how our students will where they'll go, the pathways that they'll get into after they graduate. But we're really prioritizing building those pathways and building pathways to partners that might potentially hire them.
Perfect. Yeah, sounds like it's just a matter of time.
Yeah.
Paul, thank you so much for taking the time to join us this afternoon. Your colleagues are in the Discord and able to take any questions.
Great.
Yeah. So
thanks very much. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Great. Thanks. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Thank you both.
Well, that was very good from Paul from the University of... no, it wasn't.
Liverpool, yep.
Yeah, Liverpool. Yes, it was. Really questioning myself now. Lastly, but definitely not least, we are pleased to also be joined by a friend from Into Games, a non-profit that supports people on their journey into and through the games industry. Let's bring on Brandon Cole, their Director of Partnerships and Development.
Hello, good afternoon, folks. How's it going?
Hey, Brandon. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, nice to be here. Lovely to be here. How are you both getting on? Looks like a lovely event so far.
It's been great, and it's about to get even better. So we'll leave everyone in your hands.
Great. Thanks very much, folks. Hello, everyone from Into Games. My name's Brandon. As everyone said, I head up the partnerships and many other things, and I wear many hats over at Into Games. If you didn't know already, we are essentially the skills and career service for the games industry. We exist to help people like you guys find jobs in the games industry. I did have a slide deck prepared, but funnily enough, as these things happen, my laptop's decided not to charge and ran out of battery. So you're just going to have to look at my face and I won't be able to hide behind a slide deck. I've only got 5 minutes, so I just wanted to share some quick top tips of advice and then also a little plug at the end as well, if you haven't heard of it already. So there's a few top tips that I wanted to say, and as my slide deck would have shown, the first one of those is make things and make things quick. You will hear this advice lots, and it is the best advice that I can possibly give to anyone who wants to get into the games industry, especially in the developer role. Make things, make them quick, and finish them. Get really, really good at just cultivating a love of learning. Enjoy the learning process, enjoy learning new skills, enjoy flexing your abilities and trying in things in new areas that you didn't know before, and just get good at finishing things. That is one of the things that employers are really, really going to notice when you go into applying for your first roles. The second one of those is one that I tell people all the time, is that all experience is good experience. If you look at my LinkedIn profile page, you will see a really neatly assembled line of fancy jobs and job titles over the last few years, but that's not actually really my employment history. My employment history includes toilet cleaner, bartender, waiter, labourer, bricklayer, retail assistant, shelf stacker. All of these things, probably apart from the toilet cleaner, gave me a really valuable experience in all of the soft skills that I use today in the games industry. So I'm not saying, take the next job as a toilet cleaner. I'm just saying, look, if there's something there that feels like you're going to learn something that could be useful in the games industry, don't turn that experience down, because ultimately recruiters are going to look at your employment history and they're much more likely to hire somebody who's got 3 years working in a nearby sector than somebody who's fresh out of university, who's never worked a day in their lives. So don't be afraid about taking other experiences in other places. All of those skills are useful, and they're going to be really useful when you come to interview stage and you get asked to talk about real practical experiences that you've had. The third one of those is take it seriously. I did have a really awesome picture to show you of somebody's CV that they created on a picture of a piece of bread. And they sent that round to games employers, as well as another email of another person who basically said, if you don't ask, if you don't get, and sent over their CV to Media Molecule. Like, these won't get you very far. Maybe in the very rare occasion you'll hear of people who end up getting jobs because they've posted a meme in their CV. Ultimately, you're going to be up against lots of very privileged, very rich people with friends in high places, but ultimately you guys are smarter and more interesting than them. So just let that shine, take it seriously, really think about what you're saying to employers, because it's a professional interaction. You can make friends with them afterwards. The next piece of advice that I would say after that is share your skills. Share your skills widely. I've heard of so many people who've been hired and noticed through the industry because of the fact that they've been sharing their skills online. They've been talking about their learning process. They've been talking about their portfolio and building up pieces in it. Everyone always tells you about your portfolio, and I don't need to tell you again how important it is to always make sure that that's as good as it can be. But just generally on social media and on other networks, sharing your skills with other people is a great way to cement your learnings, and it's a really, really great way to get noticed by people in your field. Lots of people have been employed or noticed by employers because they genuinely care about their profession, the skills that they're learning, and they want to learn more. So be curious, share your skills, and just keep in the loop about things. And the final one, which doesn't just apply to making games, it applies to everything that you do because it will give you really valuable skills, is team up. Games is, if anything, collaborative. It's the only industry where you have artists, designers, marketeers, producers, programmers, publicists, lawyers, all working together on a single piece or a single product. And it's super, super collaborative. If you can't work as a team, then you're really struggling in games. There's very few, yes, I'm sure you'll be saying some names right now of people who make games by themselves, but those are very, very few people. The vast majority of people work in large teams very collaboratively, and they're very good at communicating. So get good at communicating. It's a learning process. It takes time, but the more you do it, the easier it gets. And get good at giving and receiving feedback that's really constructive, because all those things will be super useful for you. I hope that information is useful and there's some really valuable stuff in there, some nuggets to take away. And I have one final plug, which is hopefully a place where you can do all of those things. If you're not on there already, you can see right down there, it says intergames.org, add a / and put Discord in there. We run bi-weekly design challenges, some of which are supported by industry, where you can get industry feedback, flex your skills across different disciplines. All of those are set to be things that are across disciplines that you can put in your portfolio that are, you know, job ready, that will get you noticed by employers. We run panels on there. There's opportunities to join game jams, to collaborate with other people. So if you're not on there already, please do join the Intergames Discord. It's a great way to also find out about all of our free events, all of our free employability boot camps, all of the other stuff that we do. So if you're not on there already, please do join intergames.org/Discord, and hopefully that'll help you along the way to all of those things I said to you before. And then just a final little piece of info, just so that you know that it's not all bad up there. It does take time. You will get there. The person who created the Toast CV and the person who sent the email saying if you don't ask, that if you don't get, are now QA analysts and producers at Mediatonic and Rocksteady. You know, you'll get there eventually. It will take time. You'll make mistakes along the way, but if you really care about it and you really want to get into the industry, you do the right things and you make the right steps, you will get there. So that was a bit of a whistle-stop tour. I hope some interesting info for you. Colin.
Thank you so much. I think you broke up just at the end. Brandon, some really good advice on like getting noticed within the industry. Thank you so much. We had a question from Alpha Woods, who would like to know, is it worth getting experience on like a lot of games in multiple different companies or one large project in one company? What's your advice on that?
It really depends, experience is good whatever you do, and the experience you have in one organization is going to be completely different from another one. Typically people do move around companies quite a lot, but that's because it's easier to kind of get promoted and move up through the ladder for those reasons. It depends what you're looking for. You're looking for wide and varied experiences across lots of different projects, then I recommend doing that. If you're looking for something where you can build up a reputation as an organization, you can hone your skills, you're much more likely to get support with learning and development and training, professional development if you stay in the company for a longer time. So it really depends what you're looking for.
I agree.
Perfect. Great advice. And then just on your final point about meeting up with other people, definitely recommend people get onto the Indie Games website, definitely get onto the Indie Games Discord. Is there anywhere else, any other resources that you would commonly recommend people check out?
There's lots of free events and things out there that I know that aren't completely accessible for people because of geographical limitations, financial limitations, all of those sorts of things. But there's lots and lots of free networking events, free game jams. Anyone, if you want to join game jams, there's loads of Discords out there where people can find teams to work with each other. Any sort of like social network is great. Twitter is as much of a hellhole as it is a place where lots of the UK games industry communicate and talk about events. I always find out about games industry events and networking opportunities through Twitter. So follow people that you're interested in, follow disciplines that you're interested in, and you can find out a lot through that network. I would say that's the primary place where the UK games industry talks about events and networking. So if you want to be in the loop, that's the place to be.
Great advice. Yeah, I mean, certainly the two most common things I keep telling people are game jams to get the experience and persistence because it doesn't happen quickly. So love the fact that you picked up on both of those. Brandon, it's been a pleasure as always. Thank you for joining us.
Hey, no problem at all. Pleasure as always, guys. All the best for the rest of the event and take it easy.
Great. Thanks very much. Wow, and that is us. What a brilliant array of fantastic speakers and great advice we've had over the last hour and a half. An amazing set of organizations, great advice, and we really hope it helps everyone on their journey into the games industry.
Yes, 100%. Many thanks to all the companies that have taken part today. Ubisoft, Unity, Double 11 and Into Games. And to Escape Studios, University of Liverpool, Abertay University and the University of Salford for their support in making today happen. Please do go chat to them. They are in the Discord and they are here till 6.
If you have enjoyed this, please do subscribe to the YouTube channel and check out the website www.gamesjobs.live, where you can also sign up to a free newsletter to keep up to date with all our future events.
And big thank you to Elsef for helping to keep the Discord kind of sensible. But Escape, Salford, Liverpool, Abertay are on Discord, as I mentioned earlier. They're here till 6, so please make use of them. Get your questions in that we didn't get to answer today.
And we'll close just by saying we really hope to see everyone in the games industry soon. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.
Bye.